Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we're going to be talking a little bit about Kevin Durant and Charles Barkley, and yet again, another blow up. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, as y'all know, Kevin Durant and Charles Barkley seem to have like a hate-hate relationship. You know, you have a love-hate relationship. This seems to be like a hate-hate relationship. Why do I say that? Because Kevin Durant is just one person that doesn't really seem to care about being chummy with you. If he feels like it's going to be awkward between the two of y'all, it's going to be awkward between the two of y'all. And Charles Barkley is that same way. He's like, if you don't like me, to hell with you. I'm just giving you my opinion. If you don't like it, whatever. I'm just doing my job. And it's caused him to get in a lot of spats with various people, even the greatest player of all time by far, and Michael Jordan. They've had their disputes as well. Now, for those of you who may be unaware, Charles Barkley has always kind of gotten on KD, but not really gotten on him. He's just given his honest assessment, and it's an assessment that a lot of people feel, which is, we all know that Kevin Durant is a great player. We all know he's accomplished great things in the NBA, but a lot of people feel like, although yes, he was the best player on those Golden State Warriors teams, we feel like he joined the super team, right? And he's never led the team the way a LeBron did in 2016, the way a Kawhi did in 2019, the way a Dirk did in 2011, the way Kobe did in 2009, the way these guys did. So he feels like we can't put him, Kevin Durant, in the upper echelon of great players. And as a matter of fact, what we want to do is we want to play a little bit of Charles Barkley explaining his reasoning about this, and then we'll continue on.
I actually like Kevin. I think that he's a great player. I think he's actually a good dude. I think he's insecure at times. You know, he gets mad when the old guys like myself saying he got to win a championship away from the Golden State Warriors. And I know he got offended by that, but that's not my job to worry about people's feelings.
I think the issue that comes sometimes from players and people in the media is, for example, right now for you to say, I think he's insecure, right? It's like, what data have we collected, or what conversation have you had with him personally to be able to label him as an insecure person?
Taylor, there's levels to this. You don't have to react to every fool. When I talk about insecurities, like, yo, man, everybody's opinion doesn't matter. You don't need burner phones. You're Kevin Durant. You can say whatever the hell you want to, but you don't have to react to every single thing.
So you heard what Charles had to say about Kevin Durant's, level of sensitivity, right? Now, recently, he then went on 60 Minutes, right? And he was interviewed by 60 Minutes to talk about a range of things. And one of those things, of course, they brought up Kevin Durant. So they asked Charles, basically, they say Kevin Durant. And what Charles Barkley said is what absolutely just pissed off KD, and it caused him to take to Twitter to respond to him. And it's a short clip, like a 20-second clip. So take a listen to what Charles Barkley had to say here about KD.
Kevin Durant.
He's very sensitive, great player. He's part of that generation who think he can't be criticized. He's never looked in the mirror and says, man, was that a fair criticism?
We're in agreement. Today's players are a little more sensitive to criticism than your generation.
That would be an understatement.
So you heard what Charles basically had to say there about KD. And then KD decided basically to take it upon himself to respond to that clip or that audio. And he basically said, this ain't getting tiring, Chuck. I'll never respect the words that come out of your mouth, fam. Just deal with it. So you heard what KD had to say. Here are my thoughts. I'm going to go ahead and call cap on what KD just said about Charles Barkley, that he'll never respect the words. If you didn't respect the words that Charles Barkley was making, you would not be wasting your time responding to him. It gets to you on some level. It's significant on some level. And I've noticed this, that people on TV who are on TV talking about sports generally get responded to more because their views, for whatever reason, seem to carry more weight. It's just something about our association with television and the way we perceive people on television. It does something to human beings where we almost become hypnotized, right? And for whatever reason, NBA players, they watch people on TV, or athletes, or whatever it is. They watch people on television give their opinions about them, and it causes them to react to them. But the fact of the matter is that people are on the internet all day talking about them. Now, KD does respond to some of these people as well, but I definitely think that what Charles says, it absolutely matters to Kevin Durant, right? Otherwise, he wouldn't respond to him. And I think there's some truth to what Charles is saying, to be quite honest with you. And in terms of being sensitive, some people can view that as KD being sensitive, because he's always responding to people. But it's also important to say that he's a human being, right? And we can try to ignore people as much as we can. But after a while, someone is going to say something to get under your skin. In the case of a Kevin Durant, you're a superstar NBA player. Some people have said that, hey, man, this should be above the fray. Like, you're above the fray. You shouldn't be responding to people like this. Some people say you're punching down. But in the case of Charles Barkley, you're not punching down, you're punching across, right? And that's the reason why maybe KD feels compelled to respond to Charles. So when he says that, it doesn't really matter what Charles is saying, I don't really buy that. And the latest example of that is when Stephen Curry won his 4th championship. A lot of people started saying that, oh my God, Stephen Curry is better than Kevin Durant. Now, as individual basketball players, I don't believe so, but a lot of people were saying that. But I can understand those people saying that because, hey, listen, Stephen Curry did beat the team in the finals that Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving could not get by. Now, if you look at the Golden State Warriors, they are one of the most difficult teams to defend. One of the most difficult teams to defend probably in NBA history because of all of that ball movement and the threat that Stephen Curry is, the way he's able to drag the defense from either side of the court. It's absolutely incredible, right? So they're a very hard team to scheme for defensively anyway. But people will say, hey, listen, although when Steph and KD were teammates, Kevin Durant won all of the finals MVPs. Some people all of a sudden catapulted Stephen Curry much higher than KD just because of that one ring, right? And the fact of the matter is that's only Stephen Curry's first finals MVP. He's won 4 rings and he's only had 1 finals MVP. Kevin Durant has won 2 championships. He's been in the finals 3 times. He has 2 finals MVP. But because Steph won it without a clear-cut mega star playing next to him, people push him a little bit higher. So I think if KD, for instance, was to go on and win with the Phoenix Suns, I think he would get the same level of respect of the Stephen Curry guy. No one is going to accuse Devin Booker of being a Hall of Famer yet ahead of Klay Thompson or anything like that. Some people can look at Chris Paul. Yes, he's a Hall of Famer, but he's a much older basketball player, right? So I think if Kevin Durant were to go on to win this championship, for example, it would have worked wonders for his legacy. Not that he's not a great player, right? It's not that. It's just that thing of kind of getting that monkey off your back. Because the same thing that Kobe had to go through. A lot of people saying Shaq carried him, and then Kobe went on to win 2 championships without Shaq. How many rings did Shaq win without Kobe? That's my point. So to me, I think that that's what Charles is talking to, and I think that's the part that really kind of digs at KD, because he knows that it's not just Charles that's out there saying this. There are people out there in the sports world that feel that way. Some are public about it and overt about their opinions and candid about their opinions, like Charles Barkley, while others feel it more quietly. Right. And they don't want to, disclose their true feelings about it. And I think that's the reason these guys have this back and forth. I don't think KD will ever see eye to eye with Charles, because I think he will always believe that Charles is hating. And I don't think Charles cares. And I think Charles is not going to back off his stance. So really, the question to the audience is simply this. Who do you think is right here? Do you think that Charles Barkley is right to continuously take this position on Kevin Durant? Or do you think that KD is right to say, hey, man, listen, Charles, just stop?